Hi there, it's Ina here, and today I want to give you a quick flip through of this journal here, which is completed. It has 26 pages in it, which is half a year worth of art journal prompts followed. As I've mentioned once before, I follow a Facebook group called Art Journal Prompts and therefore create a page every week. And I find it really enjoyable, as when you get a prompt like that, you have to think out of a box. You have to come up with a way to interpret the prompt. And I find it fun, and also often it leads me into bigger projects because, yeah, it triggers new ideas. So if you do not know about this group yet, please go in my description box. There is a link. Now, the lady who posts the prompts is Ribena, and she also has a very nice channel, and the link to her channel will be below as well. And before I get started, I want to mention one more time that this particular journal was made for me by my friend Andrea, and the link to her video where you can check out how she put it together will be below as well. All right, those were all the things I wanted to mention before I get any further. Now, the reason I am doing this halfway through the year, as initially I thought about doing it at the end of the year, of course, when 52 pages are completed, but I think that would make for a way too long video. So stopping halfway, I think it's a good solution. So let me show you my pages. So there are, as I said, 26, and they're held in here with these nice Chicago screws, which make for easy and good storage. They just do not allow you to flip the pages very easily. So I will take it out of here for now. And I think I'm going to put them all over here and start one at a time. So the prompt for the first week of the year was Word of the Year, and I picked grateful. This is actually a sticker, but I went over it with a permanent marker, leaving a bit of a gold border. I decoupaged the rooster off a napkin. And yeah, I picked the rooster because 2017 is the year of the rooster, so I thought it was quite fitting. And for the same reason, I also opted for green in the background, as that's the color of the year. It has some dry brushing of copper paint on the edges, some charcoal, and here I used the big letter stencil and just acrylic paint. All these are acrylic paints. There is a little bit of stenciling here as well. All right, that was page number 1. Now, a few of these pages, not too many, are covered in some of my videos. So because a lot of it is new and never been recorded, I'm hoping that there'll be a lot of new stuff for you to look at. So the second prompt was texture, and I added it here using little letter stamps. And of course, I added all the texture I could think of. It's some modeling paste through a stencil. There are some beads, there's some string, there's a little tag, and there's even a little metal heart. And this part of the page also has liquid glitter, and the background was created with sprays. Now at this point, I decided to always add the prompt itself within the page. So you will see it on all the pages. The next one was music. Here I used bits and pieces of music sheets, decoupaged it to the background. I used my dilution paints, pink, just applied it with my finger. There's a little bit of silver paint. Of course, this pretty image of a violin here I found in a magazine, I guess, I can't remember. And these pages came from the same music sheet booklet. Just a little image of a gypsy boy playing his violin and a few images of trees. I added the music key, and the word was put down with rub-on letters. I really like the font, this old-fashioned font. All right, that was that. The next prompt was called Life is a, and I decided to finish it up by adding chance. Now, chance was done with stamps. I have these big letter stamps, but it was quite a bit embellished. These are magazine images, the old fellow and the young boy. And the background was made with bits and pieces of wrapping paper, some flower one, and this one looks like an old-fashioned wallpaper. And then I took actual string to string up these little cardboard letter stickers, and that worked really well. I think it gave it a nice effect. And not all the pages, but many of them have a little of a 3D effect here and there. So that was that one. And this was the first page I covered in a video, and actually in this video I introduced these first 4 pages as well, so you might have already seen those. Now I won't get into too many details here. It has copper paint, it has turquoise paint, it has crackle medium. There's a picture of my little twin boys when they were maybe 2 or 3. Now they are 19. Oh, time flies. And then I created this little movie clipboard. I'm not really sure what the proper word for it is. But these 2 pieces are made from thin cardboard. I painted them, attached them with a little paper brad right there. And of course, painted the rest, added the words, little stamping. So there's that one. And this also was covered in a video. I love the way the background came out. I love all the colors. Those were all sprays. This is the little wooden laser cut word, believe, because believe was the prompt. This is a die cut of a steampunk goggles. And this pretty image was printed on napkin paper. So there is a little coloring and there is some glossy accent to kind of imitate the look of glass. A lot of stamping in the background, a little bit of copper stenciling on the edges. Yeah, I quite like this one. The next prompt was fill your heart. So I went for a green heart. I outlined it by adding some normal string with some glue. I painted the inside with a stronger color. I decoupaged some napkin which had these elements printed on them, some paper flowers, some glitter, and I think the background, it's been a while, is just decoupaged of book paper and different other bits and pieces of leftovers. It has some gesso over it to give it this faded look. All right, that one. Now this page was also covered in the video. It's a very simple page. A magazine image, a little bit of painting, a little bit of stenciling, and the prompt was find your wings. So there she is with her wings. The next prompt was material, and I took it to mean fabric. So I used bits and pieces of pretty fabric, mostly in gray and turquoise. I did add some paint to it here and there. I also cut out the flowers, and these flowers from fabric and from lace. It has a little zigzag border here. And this was written with one of those 3D paint markers, and that's what I also used on the edges. This was a lot of fun to make, and it's a very solid page. The next prompt was magic. So I started by painting a rainbow. I believe I used watercolors for that. I painted a light blue sky, then I blocked out the circle with masking fluid and added dark blue on top. And after the masking fluid was removed, I have the rainbow peeking through. I added some stamping. These are some feathers here and over here as well. They have a little bit of liquid glitter on it. I did some outlining. I did some shading to make those bubbles pop. And right here I added a magazine image of a celestial city. I thought it was a perfect image for this circle, and again I added glossy accent over it. So there's this one. The next prompt was sparkle. This is also covered in a video. So I painted the face. I believe I used watercolor pencils and Sharpie markers on her hair. I added these really bright stickers which match the color of the hair. These are 3D, these are flat, some lines, and everything is very sparkly, including the letters I use to spell out the prompt. So you can find the details for this one on my channel as well. And then came adventure, and of course I was reminded about the 70s and my hippie days, so I added a VW bus, a hippie girl with a guitar, a broken heart over here, some doodling, and the background is full of, I believe it was sprays again, and some stenciling with my gear stencil. And of course I had to add the prompt with bubble letters. Lots of outlining with white gel pen. So there she is, my hippie girl. And this prompt was called Scraps. So it has just leftover pieces of wipe-up paper, including these triangles, which are book pages which had been stenciled on. The border is some homemade washi tape, which was also made out of bits and pieces of paper leftovers, as well as the circles. These circles, I added some dots, I added some liquid glitter, and then the rub-on letters. And it just so happened that it had enough circles to fit the word scraps. That was just a happy coincidence. And the next one, the prompt was Eastern Promise. And of course, originally I thought about something Asian, but I thought probably most people will pick it up that way. So I wanted to do something different. And I created a sunrise in the east. So the background is just a very simple acrylic painting with the sky, the sun, a few little birds, a big bird, and then the flowers were done with stamps, and the grass with a credit card, a little bit of a white border, some white splatter. Yeah, that's it, pretty simple, but I think it's quite nice. I like the vibrant colors. And for the word, I use some little stickers, alpha stickers, and actually this particular font is one of my favorite, and those stickers are available rather cheaply. Cheapest place is Walmart. They have them at Michael's as well, and I have a whole stack of them because I think if you buy the same font over and over, you really get more of a use out of your alpha letters, as you don't run out of certain letters. So in the long run, I think it's more practical. And I do like this font, and I use it a few times, and you've seen me use it before. And this prompt was vintage. So the lady came from a magazine, I believe, or maybe calendar. The background was created with sprays and a stencil and some stamping to create a bit of a wallpaper look. Stamps used here for chandelier. I stenciled the old-fashioned stone wall, and these were some of those German die cut. They're also kind of a vintage item, and the word vintage right here. And another prompt called Step into Spring. Now here I created a stairway on a separate piece of paper, glued it down, added stickers, some splatter, super simple. And this was covered in a video as well. So that is Step into Spring. And this one was called Magazine Clippings, which is of course right up my alley, as I really like putting collages together. So the whole background was actually a piece out of a magazine which showed this beautiful Aurora Borealis. I just loved the colors. Then I cut out all these flowers. Those were actually jewelry pieces, and they were all cut out individually. Then I found this old-fashioned postcard, print of an old book page, and this wooden hand. I painted the silhouette of the trees, a little bit of stenciling around the edges. And yeah, that's it. And I really like this page. I think here the colors just really came together nicely. So that was that one. This prompt was called Monochromatic. And right in the beginning, I decided to make a face because I'm still practicing my faces, and I try to find opportunities where my simple faces will fit. So I did some stenciling in the back, and I decided on red as a color. as you can have different shades of pink and red, and it seems to suit a face very well. So here it is. I think this was either my watercolor pencils or my watercolor crayons. I can't remember. And these are alpha stickers as well. I don't know if you ever noticed, but I like white alpha stickers sometimes, but they're much harder to find than black ones, and they're always way more expensive. I don't really understand why. So this prompt was called Take 5. I think the idea behind it was to take 5 different mediums and create something. But I wanted to do a little something out of the box, so I decided on tracing my hand. Now I think I started by just making a background with all kinds of stamping and spraying and splattering, and then after I traced my hand, I darkened the background all around it and added the border. And I really like the way the border goes into the hand. Bit of outlining, a bit of stenciling of the, I think this is a rub-on and this is the stencil, the 5. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I quite like this page. And then the prompt was water soluble. And it so happened that that very week I received my Neocolor 2, my watercolor crayons. And so I tried them out on here. I drew the mason jar. And yeah, I quite like the effect, how the paint kind of dissolves in the water, and they're really fun to work with. So, and this prompt was called Tissue Paper, and this one is covered in the video. A lot of drippage in the background, little painting. The flowers are made with tissue paper. Yeah, pretty simple. And again, you can look this one up if you like. The next prompt was repurpose. And the idea was to repurpose leftover bits and pieces you might have used in another project. And so I mainly use things which otherwise I would throw away, like this was my palette, and I cut it off a little styrofoam plate with a zigzag scissor. I also used the same scissor to cut the little circles out of baby wipes and the little strips out of a paper towel. And these were all used to wipe up, I think mostly sprays, that's why they're so bright. Of course, this is acrylic paint. And then I had a leftover shiny black cardboard circle which went in the middle. And it's very rare that I work on a white background, but I think in this case it worked out really well. So here again, my favorite alpha stickers. It says the title there, the prompt. The next prompt was bloom, and for whatever reason I wasn't in the mood of doing flowers or anything like that, which was the first thing that came to mind, of course, with this prompt. So I turned it into bloomers, and I created these bloomers made out of bits and pieces of craft paper, some actual lace right here, a little 3D bow, and I hung them up on the clothesline, a little washi tape, and the background, I think it was just some watercolor and then some stenciling with gesso. And these were alpha stickers I had forever and ever, so they kind of fit in the color. Yeah, fun page. And the prompt here was urban grunge graffiti. So I chose the last word to be my main focal point, and I really enjoyed painting this, going from red to light yellow. The background is, I think I used a roller, yes, a roller and some gray and some turquoise, and then some red stenciling, a brick stenciling, some drippage, and at the very end I added a stencil which represents a fence, like a wire fence, and you can kind of see it going all over it. And yeah, I quite enjoyed this one. This was fun. I do like sometimes to work with letters and get the shading right and so on. So there was that one. Now this prompt was time, and I covered this in the video as well. And this was done super easy, super quick. But I think the effect is quite fun. I found this nicely colored watch face in a magazine. It's just a bunch of gluing, shading, a little outlining, nice border, and the background on this one was also done with a paint roller, one different blue tones and white tones, little splatter. Yeah, pretty simple. But yeah, I like this one too. And last not least, prompt 26 was pets. So I took a photocopy of a photo of my pets and I glued it on this page after I did a very simple background, and I painted over it using my acrylic paints, purposely not in the proper pet color. I just wanted to try out something different. There's a little bit of stamping up there of little animal paws, the word pets glued down with alpha stickers. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, this is a fun page too, I think. These guys were laying on a blanket. That's Rusty, my little cat, and Millie, my little dog. So that was it. 26 pages. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you had fun. Before I go, I wanted to mention that, of course, you can find videos for some of these pages on my channel, but I also have a Facebook page called Ina's Art Room. And you can find it easily. And if you push the like button, you can go into all my files where all my art is really nicely organized. There is a folder just for these prompt pages. And of course, you find all my other creative endeavors there as well. Okay, that's it for today, I believe. That's all I had. Thank you so much for coming. See you really soon again. Bye-bye for now.